pressure. She's sacked him. A great bull rush by Chris Jones.
He's not banking on the skill that he's been blessed with.
It's a Kelsey. Great catch. Touchdown. Kansas City, the 10. Still not down. Oh, what a run. Out of this world. Sinks it up the middle. Intercepted. Intercepted by Matthew. The Honey Badger doesn't care.
Good evening, everyone. Mitch Holthus with you, voice of the Chiefs, along with Shawn, Barber. There are good wins, and then there's really good wins. This is a really good win over a good Buffalo team, 26-17. Let's go right to Andy Reid, who's at the podium in Orchard Park.
So Alex Okafor strained his hamstring, the other hamstring. I know it's frustrating for him, but he'll get that worked on. And then Schwartzy, Mitch, his back was bothering him, and we were able to get him out of there, and had some guys on the offensive line step up. I was proud of those guys and the job they did, as I was of the football team. I thought the guys came in here against a heck of a Buffalo team. Weather conditions were a bit ugly, and they just bared down. And so defensively, Spags had a great game plan. I thought the boys executed it, just did a great job with it. You take away the penalties, and, the yardage is less than, obviously, what we had there. But I just thought the guys bared down against what I think is, like I said, a real good offense and very well-coached football team. Shawn does a heck of a job. So, and then offensively, Clyde, you got to take your hat off to the young kid. I mean, he stepped up, and I thought he did a nice job running the ball. And D-Rob had a couple of huge plays for us, in the throw game. Pat had a good, solid game too, and did a nice job. He didn't have quite as many throws as he normally does, but Clyde was able to fill in the blanks there and run the ball, as did all the running backs. They all had an opportunity tonight, so I thought they did a good job. Anyways, and then special teams I thought was solid. So all in all, a good win against what I think is a good football team. And they're banged up a little bit. They played a lot of games here, and so in a short period of time. So we'll probably have a chance to see them again somewhere down the road, they'll be healed up by then. Anyways, time yours.
Let's go first to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Andy, with the running game, was that something you had anticipated coming into tonight? Was it weather related, or was it just sticking with what was working?
Well, listen, we felt like, and this is me talking now, so I didn't think I gave the guys enough of a chance last week with it, and especially the second half. And so we wanted to make sure that, we're best when we have some kind of a balance going, when you can kind of go back and forth. It puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the defense. And so we were able to do both, and we felt like we needed both in this game. So.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Andy, wanted to ask you about the reasoning of starting Daniel Kilgore tonight, and then your impressions in his first real consecutive amount of snaps of Nick Allegretti.
Yeah, so listen, Austin's been powering through a tender knee, and we thought it was a chance to kind of back up for him and just let him, he was still out there and did his thing, but just to heal up a bit and listen, Kilgore, he did a nice job. He's a good football player. He's played a lot of football. Who's your Allegretti? Yeah, I thought he did a nice job too. So good, solid game. I'll look to see the tape and see how he did from there. But I thought, it looked like the offensive line. Rimmers kicked out. He started guard, kicked out to tackle. So we had a lot of moving pieces there. Tribute to Coach Heck and the job that he does, moving people around in practice. And the guys didn't really flinch. They just jumped in and went. So.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Adam, you good?
There we go. Okay. Hey, Andy, a couple things real quick. Was it with Mitch Schwartz, was it at all close that he might not play tonight in the first place? And I'll ask you the second one when you're done answering.
Yeah, he thought maybe he could get through it and roll, and just started tightening up on him. So we made the switch there. What's your second one?
On your, you talked a minute ago about you didn't feel like you gave your running game a chance last week, enough of a chance last week. What about your pass rush tonight? Even though you didn't sack him, you still got some pressure on him. Did you feel like you guys needed to dial that up tonight as opposed to what you did last week as well?
Yeah, listen, I think the guys, they take a lot of pride in that front. And so Chris was just coming back last week. I think he felt better this week. Listen, that's one of the better offensive lines in the National Football League that we just played. So to get that kind of pressure on him, just making him move his feet and move in the pocket is that's enough. The sack is big if you get it, that's great, but enough when pressure is on that's a tough thing on a quarterback.
Let's go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach. No Sammy Watkins tonight, but how good was it to see Byron Pringle step up in a huge moment on 3rd and long?
Yeah, that was a big one. He did a great job. He always seems to come up with one big one when he's out there. So it was great. Great for him. Great for Kansas State's recruiting, and away we go. Right. So it's a beautiful thing all the way around.
Let's go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, as y'all were running the football, Le'Veon Bell tweeted out, "I can't wait to join the offense." What are your impressions of you? Is that feeling mutual?
Yeah. So listen, we don't turn away good players, and he's a good one. So it's exciting to have him around, and we'll see how he does. He's got to get in the playbook and learn everything, but he's a pretty smart kid and been doing it a long time. So I don't think I'll have a problem with that. But I think if you talk to Clyde will sleep well tonight, as I think the other backs will. To have one more guy, I don't think any of them will complain there.
Go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win and game plan. Just to follow up to what Herbie was getting at, this was the story of Kansas City. How did you estimate that Clyde handled the news en route to what was the best game of his young career? Yeah,
listen, I thought he did a nice job. I mean, real nice job, and I thought he handled the news well. I think they've actually talked before before anything ever happened. So there was a little communication that I think took place, and so I think that's healthy. And so but anyways, he took it fine. I mean, obviously he came out, played pretty good, so that was a good thing.
We got time for 2 more. We'll go Sam and then Aaron. Go ahead, Sam.
Andy, you sort of alluded to this a little bit, but it looked like Clyde obviously had a great game, but the run blocking was terrific as well. I'm just wondering, was there a tweak that you guys made, or was that something that you thought you could get the Bills with going into this?
Well, listen, I mean, we felt it would work. I mean, I'm not going to tell you we didn't feel it would work, but you never know until you get in there. So Coach Heck does a nice job with Corey Matei putting that together. And it's, I hope if we can run it a few more games like that, I might be able to get on your wall right there.
We'll go last to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
You touched on it a little bit in your opening statement, but 10 penalties last week and then 8 today. Is there something that you're seeing that's leading to that, and how do you get it cleaned up?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're always working on it. I've got to go back and look at the tape on some of those. I mean, I'm sure they were good calls, but I'm gonna double check them for sure. And but well, you can't have penalties. I mean, that's one of the things. You give people yardage and allow them to keep the clock moving and the yardsticks moving. That's not healthy. So we've got to do better there.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Never underestimate that man is a warrior. And the look we were seeing on him was like Andy Reid pulling, and I'm a DB out there, that you going, this ain't going to end well. This dude was on fire. They showed some Andy Reid personality in this game to beat the Buffalo Bills 26-17.
The one thing as a player you hear Andy Reid tell you before you enter the arena, let your personality show. And Andy took that upon himself. You saw on that 3rd and short when they didn't measure it. You want to talk about personality. You want to talk about fire. The reason he called him Big Red, you saw his eyes turn fire red. He wanted a measurement. He deserved a measurement. That run deserved a measurement, and he didn't get it. You know what he did? Called the run, ran in for a touchdown the next play. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, he was going, wait a minute, I got to burn a timeout, but the flip bone touchdown to put the Chiefs up by 2 scores was big. But let's just look at what happened here. Running the ball. It is the most, or at least tied for most, running attempts and yards by an Andy Reid coach team. You're covering over 20 years of history here to beat the Buffalo Bills. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we're going to hear from Clyde in just a second. 26 carries, 161 yards.
You talk about rebounding, about some news entering the building that you might be being pushed for playing time. And what did Coach Benjamin say? I just told the kid, handle things you can control. And that's exactly what he did tonight. He knew when the ball got in his hand, he knew how to control it. He knew be patient, hit the hole, run with balance, poise, and finish off every run. And he did it for almost 200 yards today.
But let's give some credit here. An offensive line for the most part of this game that was, okay, we know Fisher at left tackle. He had one of his best games. He was pancaking dudes. I said it was the Lions Club pancake feed. Nick Allegretti at left guard had not seen hardly any action on scrimmage downs. Daniel Kilgore starts the game at center. Okay, veteran, but he hadn't played really 4 placement snaps in last week's game. Then at right guard, okay, it's Wiley. Started with Schwartz, the back tightens up. Then you got to put Remmers, who started at left guard, to right tackle, and you have one of the all-time rushing days in Andy Reid's history.
Man, take all 8 offensive line, put the names in a hat, jumble it around, pull out 5, put them on the field, and let them road grave. That's what they did. They took it personal. It was one of those nights, it was kind of the weather was getting to you, and they wanted to set an attitude. Everybody was talking about the offensive line, the defense giving up. Everything kind of pointed to maybe a sense of softness going on because they're saying it was getting too, Pat Mahomes getting too much pressure, right? He was having to leave the pocket too early. Well, let him eat a little bit. Let the big hogs road grave and make a path for our running back, and we did it for almost 200 yards tonight.
I know you all want to win your fantasy league, but you owe reality league, and the Chiefs won this reality game. But Mahomes now, let's back it up. This reminded me of the Detroit game last year in Week 4. It's not a lights-out stat performance, but 21 of 26, 225 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oh, it was 3rd and long that he converted for a touchdown on the second one, and he ran for 36 yards, and they were almost all of them were critical runs.
Yeah, and that big last one was the one that sealed the game. That last first down sealed the game. Mahomes did something on that pirouette on the sideline. It's almost like he's an arcade game out there on the field, and it's just amazing to see him. Another primetime game. Whenever the lights are on, he elevates his game to one of the highest points. But he always goes out there with a mentality of getting first down, touchdown. Possessing the ball, he did an amazing job tonight. Ownership of this team, taking the leadership, and when the team needed to rebound off of a loss to the Raiders last week in a big moment in a big game, he rose to the occasion. Awesome job by our leader, one Patrick Mahomes.
Buffalo's good. We both agree on that. They're really good at Orchard Park. Tough to beat there. But I want to bring up another point before we go to the defense. Again, we're going to have Clyde Edwards-Helaire here in just a moment. But the last 4 possessions, the 4 possessions of the second half, the Chiefs drive start at their 20, their 18, their 6, and their 13. And they get 3 scores out of 4 of those. Their last 3 drives, they have 13 plays, 10 plays, 12 plays, 300 yards on those 3 drives, and double-digit plays. They had a ball a whole quarter shot. Now, what does that do to a defense? You play defense in this league, it's almost like they stole Buffalo's soul.
Man, when a team is running the ball at will and they keep calling it and keep dialing it up, and on defense, they're calling it, and they just keep breaking plays. It does. It takes a little bit of your spirit away. And after a number of plays being out on that field, the defense gets a little drained. And it doesn't matter if it's not a sunny day. The conditions don't matter. You see the eye of the tiger kind of building up in that offensive line, and they want to get after you. They want a piece of you. And what we saw is a frustration, right? Third quarter frustration. Personal foul by White, then a personal foul by Poyer. Those 2 personal fouls was a big critical moment in the game, and it kind of showed you how frustrating it was for a team to keep running it down your throat.
We're getting ready to hear from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We're going to talk about this Chiefs defense, too, that was really good in this game. Sans the penalties. Take the penalties away, or at least half those penalties away, and they would really shut these guys down. And this is a good Buffalo offense. But, again, we're waiting on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and a terrific performance for him. This is like the Houston performance in Week 1, even better to do it on the road against a spirited group. But defensively, the Chiefs defended 50 plays in this game. Buffalo got an average of 4.1 yards a play. That's a good night's work.
Well, defensively, we know we knew their defense. You know, it was like I said, it was just an adjustment of what Coach Spags do. Spagnola and Coach McDermott coming from the same Jim Johnson tree. We were familiar with their setup and what they were going to do up front. They did some things with the defensive line. Sometimes you saw 2 guys, 3 guys, a little dancing bear type thing. When all that happens, we just hiked the ball and kept running it down their throat. And I love to see that mentality. I love it.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, man, you had to feel like you were back at LSU in this game. Outstanding performance, one of the best in Chiefs history for a rookie. What about this game and how the guts you had to show? And not only you personally, but you had an offensive line up front that had some different names up there. What about those guys?
Oh, they did amazing. And I mean, the everything that they did made my job that much more easier. I mean, we got as soon as the ball was snapped, I mean, we had movement. I knew exactly where I was going with the ball, even if it wasn't telegraphed. I mean, even before, you know, I'm getting the ball, I just knew exactly where I was going. So ultimately, this the rushing yards wasn't mine. It was mine plus the O-line. So big shout out to those guys. Those my dogs. And ultimately, man, they do their job. It makes my job that much more easier.
An all-Tiger, all-SU backfield, you and Mr. Williams. y'all combo them up for almost 200 and some yards, touchdowns, control the game. That's what a ground and pound game is supposed to be. Can you tell us some of the mindset things that Coach Bieniemy talked to you before the game?
Ultimately, I mean, Coach EB's big thing for me this week was finishing.
Yeah.
And you know, and ultimately, I didn't, as far as finishing that much, I didn't have to because the O-line got that much more push in the front. So it just made my job, like I said, it made my job that much more easier. Doing my 1-11, I mean, even on the field, man, hearing those guys as I'm running, just, you know, yelling and screaming and screaming my name, I mean, it only gives me that much more fuel. So, like I said, I did my job, they did their job, and it's a team effort.
This almost looked like they were putting some of that good Louisiana food in front of you, and you were going, I want to eat. Bring me some more. I want to eat. It looked like you got into a flow where you're going, give me the ball, we're going. How much of that did you feel in this game?
Oh, I felt it. I felt it a lot, especially when we came out second half, and I think we had a drive. I mean, it felt like it was like 90% run, and we rolled it all the way down the field, and you know that's what we feel like we can do. If the game plan comes to that, we're able to do whatever we need to do as far as from an offensive standpoint, run the ball, throw the ball, and then ultimately that makes everything else open up, RPOs and the passing game. So, I mean, this game was based off the run, and our number was called, and we did our job.
CH, you felt it right, because on a 13-play drive, 9 runs. On the next drive, 7 runs.
Well, I know late in the game as a defender, when anybody's running the ball down your throat, we tend to get a little agitated, and we want to do maybe tackle you after the ball, tackle you when you're out of bounds. You could tell the defense was getting agitated by some of the nitpicky things that was going on, the personal fouls was giving you. What were some of the things that might have been said out on the field by the defense as you just kept rolling and rolling and rolling, running that ball down their throats?
You know, they say some things that's probably not great for TV, but ultimately all I do is laugh, man. And then when you laugh, you know, it kind of gets in their head.
Yeah.
And then, you know, me being the smartest guy on the field, I mean, when they're giving everything they got on the tackle, and then I just pop back up, that's you know, as far as mind-wise for them, it's demoralizing. Yes. And then here comes the O-line helping me up, and here we go, rolling it again. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Clyde, I'm going to be honest. We love winning this way. This was a fun way to win. But I want to ask you one final question. They get it to within 6. Looks like they want to get some momentum, even though they've been outstatted. You get the ball at your own 13, that final drive that led to the field goal, and your quarterback, your quarterback, and then some receivers making some big plays. Pringle out a 37-yarder.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. That drive there was, I mean, absolutely ridiculous. And then when Pat was scrambling and got the ball to Pringle, I mean, talk about heart dropping. And then, you know, Pring doing his job, popping up out of nowhere, making a catch, and Pat being Mr. Magician like he is. So, I mean, that drive there is going to be stamped in my head for a while.
CEH, great job. Thanks for being with us tonight. And speaking of the magician, we're going to go to him right now. Patrick Mahomes is at the podium in Orchard Park, New York.
Yeah, I think the O-line and those guys really took it personally upon themselves that the light boxes that we've been facing and the pressure that was given up the last week, and they took that personally this week, and you saw it today. They gave good holes for Clyde to run through. We had to shuffle those guys around. The guys stepped up, and Clyde really hit it and finished runs well.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Patrick, curious about the running game tonight and your reliance on the running game. Was that the idea going into tonight, or was that something you guys just stuck with because it was working so well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had a few more pass plays called. I mean, we always do, but I mean, once we saw how deep their linebackers and safeties and corners were playing, we knew that we had the run game, and so we really just stayed with it. And if teams are going to play us like this, you're going to see us running the football, and we have the guys that can do it.
Let's go next to Pat Graham. Go ahead, Pat.
Hey, Patrick, how you doing? I think this is the first time you guys have run for more than you've thrown for. What was it like resisting the temptation to take shots downfield and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was definitely different. I mean, I had a few of those RPOs called, and I had to tell myself not to throw it, just keep handing that thing off. I mean, Clyde was running well, O-line was blocking well, and I mean, I just want to win. I don't care how that's done, pass, run, defense, whatever that is, and we found a way to do that.
Next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Patrick, can you walk us through the third down to Byron? And just with no Sammy tonight, how proud were you of him for stepping up in a huge moment?
Yeah, I mean, Pringle, I've always thought highly of Pringle. I mean, he comes in every single day. He works extremely hard, and when his number gets called, he makes plays. And so he's someone that's stuck with us for a while. I'm sure he's had opportunities to try to go somewhere else, but he's been with us, and he's made plays. And on that one, he was kind of not even in the read. It was a read that I looked at Tyreek and came back to Kels, and their safety drove it pretty well. And so extended the play, and Byron kept working like he always does, and I found him at a big time.
Next to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Patrick, I wonder if you could specifically talk about how well Nick Allegretti stepped in and played, and then what it was like to kind of have to shuffle with Mitch leaving so early. And I'd like to ask a question about the defense too afterwards, Brad.
Yeah, all right. Well, with the O-line, I thought they did a tremendous job. I mean, not only Nick coming in, stepping up, and playing his tail off, really blocking well in the run game and the pass game, but Rimmers, who just came in this last week at guard and moving the tackle behind where Shorts is usually at, and really stepping up and doing a great job there. I mean, those guys are really prepared well. Beach does a good job of getting a lot of great guys in that room, and head coaches them up really well. And so I thought they did a tremendous job. I mean, hopefully we can get Mitch back here quickly, but I'm proud of those guys, and I have full trust in those guys going forward.
And what did you see from your defense this week? You know, I know that we're not very happy with what happened last week against the Raiders. Did you sense a little something from them, like they were ready to come out and have a performance like this?
Yeah, 100%. You can see that in practice. I mean, the attitude, the mindset. I mean, those guys have been rolling for a long time now, and to have a game like they had last week, they took that, like I kind of said about the O-line, they took it personally, and they really came in, focused in on the details of every single thing. And, I mean, they showed why. I mean, they're one of the top defenses in this league, and they don't get the respect that they deserve.
Let's go next to Sam Mellinger. Good, Sam.
Hey, Patrick, you mentioned the light boxes that you guys have been facing, but that's been going on all year, right? And you guys haven't been running the ball like this. I know you said that the line took it personally. Is it that simple, or was there something different you guys were doing? I know you had some different personnel up there. Was there some, different blocking schemes you guys were doing as well?
I mean, every week we have different plays that we add in, but for the most part, I mean, guys just blocked and we ran the ball well. It takes me back to my college days at Texas Tech, where we're getting drop 8 and linebackers are 6-7 yards deep. But if teams are going to do that, we got to run the football until they come up, and when they come up, we'll throw the football again. So we're a well versatile offense that can do it all, and so we're going to prove that week to week.
Let's go next to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Hey, Patrick, your new teammate Le'Veon Bell was tweeting up a storm during the game. I think he said something like, "I can't wait to join." What does he bring to you guys' offense, especially with the running game clicking like it did today?
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be another weapon. I mean, he's someone who's had tremendous success in this league for a long time now, and he's still in the prime of his career. I mean, he's 28 years old, so, I mean, he's going to come in and make plays happen, and we have days like today, having him, Clyde, Darrell, Darwin, all these guys that can come in and run the football and keep just going at the defense over and over again, it'll open up the passing game, and it'll help me out a little bit too.
Got time for 2 more guys. We'll go Pete and then Nate. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Pat, congratulations on the win. I was wondering if you could just run through the 2 touchdowns to Travis.
Yeah, the first touchdown, it was a little kind of option route play with Travis, and I was trying to hold that linebacker a little bit. He did a great job of really attacking that guy, going back out. I put it back on him. He almost got me. He almost got me with his little shake, but I put it on him, and then he got in the end zone, and that was a big play. And then the second one, we got a kind of a shell coverage look, and Clyde kind of came out to the flat, and Travis was the corner route to the back pylon. And I saw the corner's eyes kind of just peek at me for a second, thinking I was going to throw the running back because he was already there. And I just put him in that back corner, and he made a great play of catching the ball and getting his feet in.
Let's go to Nate Taylor for the last one. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Pat, I want to ask you 2 quick things. Can you take us through the mental process of that third down run where you ran behind or past the line of scrimmage and then obviously made the decision to go back? And then can you also explain, too, just the idea, the notion that teams want to hold the ball against you guys and keep you on the sideline. And in fact, today you guys reversed that course and what that felt like to be on the field more than the opposing offense.
Yeah, well, the first part, that play, I think I misread it a little bit. It was man coverage, and I was thinking about working Kels to McCole. And if you see, there's a split second where Tyree kind of pops down the seam where I can maybe hit him for a touchdown. And so, obviously, they covered it well. I scrambled out, and the guy that was spying me was coming, and I was rolling, and I knew I couldn't make the first down. And then so I tried to stop at the line of scrimmage. And you probably can see it. I looked at the little stick, and I saw that I passed the line of scrimmage. I was going to drop back and try to throw the football to D-Rob or someone like that. And once I did that, I knew I had to get upfield, and then I got upfield enough. I thought I got the first down. Shorty told me I didn't. But then we did a great job of running in the next play. And the second question, one more time.
Just the idea that you guys possess the ball more than the Bills today, when that usually is trying to be the formula to beat you guys.
Yeah, it's something that you're going to have to do in this league. You have to find ways to win. I think that's the biggest thing. You've seen it all this year. You've seen it all these last few years with our football team. Is we're going to find a way to win the football game. We don't care how that is. We don't care if it's not having a lot of possession. We don't care if it's having a lot of possession. But obviously doing that, it gives our defense the rest that they need to go out there and play good football. And so I thought we did a great job of having the time of possession. The defense did a good job of getting a lot of 3-and-outs or short drives and getting the ball back to us.
Patrick, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Brent.
We can get caught up with him throwing wasps and throwing the ball 80 yards in the air and having 400 yards. I'm telling you what, this is one tough dude, and he's a football player. This was a tough game for him to quarterback, and he was the toughest quarterback in this game. Nothing against Josh Allen, tough quarterback.
Tough quarterback, tough conditions. But when you see that we ran the ball for 247 yards, and they had total 206, those type of statistics is what a champion mindset is about. You take what the defense is giving you, and you take it in a mean way. You get there with an attitude. And so I texted earlier throughout the day, we don't give them nothing, and we take from them everything. And the way you take things from a NFL team is by running the ball right down their throat.
You also do it by playing defense the way the Chiefs did in this game. Sans the penalties. How good was this defense? How good were the linebackers in this game? It looks like now they're piecing together. That was 6 straight quarters where the linebackers played at a very high level.
They made everything be completed in front of them. They played the run game well. As you know, with Josh Allen, you was going to get a lot of quarterback heat, quarterback draw, quarterback sweep type action. So you had to be there just to keep them snapping the ball. But what we did is we recognized and we analyzed and we attacked. Downhill, Hitman was phenomenal. Hitchens, Hawkeye, Ben Neiman was phenomenal. And then Willie Gay, when he got in the game, made some big plays. But up front, the D-line, the movement by Chris Jones was something that I think the offensive line hadn't been prepared for. He made a phenomenal play a few times late in the game against running plays. There was run right at him where he slipped inside and made tackles for loss, or at least made the running back stop in the backfield. If he can continue to do that at a high effort, the other D linemen just kind of following his path, and Frank Clark numerous plays, big knockdown pass early in the ball game. Just big play after big play. The defense made enough plays to continue to keep them out of the end zone. And like you said, just sans a couple penalties, all around a great rebound from what we saw here at Arrowhead last week.
Awareness, too. Just looking at that collage of highlights. Awareness, not giving up the flea flicker. Thornhill makes that play. That's big. And then the awareness for Dan Sorensen. And Dan Sorensen's athletic. You try to throw the ball over him, he'll go up and sneaky take it away, which he did to close out the game. But I thought, too, holding the edge and keeping Josh Allen from going for 25 or 30 yards. He can do it, man. And keeping him contained, I thought was impressive.
Yeah, and then a couple times on 3rd and 1, when they wanted to try to draw us off sides or do something, just discipline. Everybody knew where they belonged, the disciplined defense. One time early in the game, I think we blew coverage against a running back, but they overthrew him. Again, I think that's where Josh Allen's game hasn't come full circle. It's sometime in those big moments when you make a mistake, he doesn't make you pay. And we got away with a few bad snaps on defense. But all in all, I mean, 90% of our defensive calls were just basic, punch him in the mouth, more physical. The more physical ball club won the trenches and won the game.
Well, that leads me to the final question here of the show, and that is short week again. We're going to have to wait for the injuries to see what smoke clears there. Short week, division opponent on the road who just won in Foxborough. Okay? That sets up the Bronco game. They're much like the Raiders. If the Chiefs win, that's 10 straight wins. They're sick of losing to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to face another team that is loaded for bear to beat the Chiefs. And so it's going to take in a performance like the one that we saw tonight against Buffalo to beat Denver.
Well, the one thing the Denver Broncos going to have to worry about is not only Pat Mahomes in the aerial attack, but now they know they have to worry about a rushing attack to go along with that. So, and who knows, we got another new weapon to come back there. So the rushing attack might get expanded by one Le'Veon Bell. So, man, defensively, we're going to have all guys on board, loving to play. I know how much you guys love playing divisional games. The Denver Broncos getting an opportunity to go after Drew Lock. I can tell that their hair is going to be on fire trying to get after him. And then offensively, man, guys just continue making big plays. I know Cheetah wants to get warmed back up. DeMarcus Robinson had a big game today. Pringle let us see that he's still relevant. And then special teams, right? Miko is still waiting to break that one in the special teams. You see every time they kick it to him, he wants to bring it out. He's going to keep bringing it out until I think that Denver game we might break one open. So looking forward for all three phases to come together for another Chiefs win.
That flip bone play on 4th and inches that made it a 2-score game. It was huge by Darrell Williams. In the backfield was Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Darrell Williams. Imagine that flip bone formation with Kelce in his regular role, Tyreek in his regular role. Oh, it's Clyde, Darrell Williams, and Le'Veon Bell in the flip bone.
Nightmares for defensive coordinators. Nightmares.
Big win for the Chiefs. Really big win. He is the Spider-Man. He is the shop. He's the barber shop, and the Chiefs get a 26-17 win on the road against the Buffalo Bills. I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. Get ready for more division football on the road on Sunday against Denver as the Chiefs continue to try to gut it out and run it back.
Chiefs Rewind is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs, and by Community America Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.